Welcome back to the Romans International YouTube channel. It has been a while. You'll notice we are in a new location. This is our new photo studio here at Romans. So we thought we'd try and do a video here. Today, you'll notice is going to be about the Lamborghini Urus. The super SUV, and here at Romans, it's one of the most desirable, most sought after models that we sell. So look, today I'm not going to do a review of how these cars drive. On our channel, we like to focus on all the different options and the choices that you'll be faced with when it comes to actually buying a Lamborghini Urus. So look, you're going to find this video pretty useful if you're looking to spec up a brand new one, or if you're looking at the second-hand market for a used one. So very quickly, just before we get into the video, I just wanted to remind people of our sister company, Elevate Finance. They're a finance brokerage, so if you are looking to finance your next car here in the UK or looking to release some equity in your current car or possibly even refinance, make sure you get in touch with the guys at Elevate Finance and they will definitely be able to help you out. Okay, so one of the first decisions you'll probably want to make is choosing the paint color for your Urus. So when the Urus first came out in 2018, there wasn't actually loads of different paint colors to choose from. And look, being an everyday car, you're probably going to see a lot of them in blacks and the greys, but they have opened it up now to something called the ad personam, where you can choose pretty much any color you want. But certainly a lot of the ones we've sold have been the likes of the blacks and the greys. So this color here is called Nero Helene. That's the metallic black. You can also get a solid black called Nero Noctis. Onto the greys. So originally the Urus had Grigio Lynx, which is a long-standing Lamborghini color. Recently, I think they've replaced that color with one called Grigio Jerez, slightly lighter gray. It's really, really nice. We had a car a couple of weeks ago we sold in that color. You can also get these colors in a matte finish, obviously cost a bit more from factory, or you can get a matte PPF, paint protection film, which has that sort of satin effect, saves you a few quid and also protects the car. Sold one literally a couple of days ago with that. Another alternative like this car is to get a vinyl wrap. This was wrapped from new in this Nardo grey. That's the color people sort of refer it to. That's obviously very popular. But look, this is a Lamborghini. The blacks and the greys you might just think is a little bit boring. If you're ever going to have an SUV in a flamboyant color, the Lamborghini Urus is the one to have. So you can get this yellow algae. I think it's called that. That's the yellow. We've had a few in that color. That was available from new. The one I really like, we had one called the Pearl Capsule Edition. That was in Arancio Borealis, lovely orange. I thought the car looked amazing in that color. There are lots of other colors as well. I believe they do Verde Mantis, the luminous green. Yet to actually see one in that color. They do Rosso Mars, the bright red. There's one we've had called Blue Helios, which is a sort of bright mid-blue. You can also get a dark blue, and there's a couple of whites too. But look, as far as we're concerned, the blacks and the greys are the ones that sell. But look, if you can be a little bit braver and get one of the brighter colors, I think it looks amazing. And they actually seem to be going for a little bit of a premium as well when you look online. So now we're going to move on to the wheels. So as standard, the Urus actually comes with 21s. I've actually only ever seen, I think, one Urus with 21s. They don't look great, to be honest. Some people probably prefer them due to the ride. But if you can go up one level and get 22s, we've had a few cars with 22s. They're often with this wheel design called the Nath design. Can get them painted in silver, grey, black. Personally, I think they look best when you have the diamond cut finish. But for us, and what I'm going to show you here is the 23-inch wheels. As far as we're concerned, these are the best selling wheels, and the cars just look great with 23s. It really suits the character of the car. You can get them all in black, or like this car's got the diamond cut finish with the black inserts, which looks really, really nice. I think it's about a £5,000 extra from new, so you know they are expensive, but I think that just finishes off the look of the car. And just quickly on the brake calipers, obviously you can get these in different colors. You'll often see them in red, yellow, which just gives gives that little pop of color. You can get them in the same color as the body. On a black car, black calipers, black wheels, you get that sort of murdered out look if you like that. But I think it's quite nice to actually spec it with a bit of color. One of the things I like doing is actually specking it to the same color as the stitching inside. That can look really good. And then just lastly, on the brakes, you do get carbon ceramic brakes as standard, but they're just worth mentioning because I believe still to this day they're the largest ever brakes on any production car ever. Just in case you're wondering what these wheels are, these are actually aftermarket wheels made by Vossen. They're 24-inch wheels. They're actually part of something called a Nero design body kit. That is something that Urban Automotive do, who are an aftermarket company. So look, they look monstrous, but not wheels you can get through Lamborghini directly. Okay, so we've chosen the paint, we've chosen the wheels. Now I just want to discuss some of the other exterior styling options. One of the main things I want to discuss is the style package. So you would have noticed quite a lot of cars online have a style package, and there are a couple of different types, can get a little confusing. But basically Lamborghini leave a lot of parts sort of unpainted and you get this sort of black plasticky finish unless you go for a style package. So on the style package you can choose a high gloss style package. See, this car being black is going to be a little bit difficult to show you. You get all sorts of parts that otherwise would look sort of plasticky in this sort of gloss black finish, which is the side sills, round on the back. You have the rear diffuser. That comes as silver as standard, but you can get it all in gloss black, which just gives it a much stealthier look. Obviously, if you go for a different color, it's slightly more contrast. If you go for the black, the wheel arches are also part of that style package. And as I've mentioned, the side sills and also these little side grills here, the mirrors, and also parts of the front bumper too. So without it, it can look a little bit cheaper, and I think it's definitely one to look out for. Other exterior options I'll mention, the roof rails, actually quite an important option for some people. Some people select it purely for aesthetic reasons because it just adds that little bit of aggression. But if you do actually want to use your Urus for moving cargo, I'm talking about bikes and skis, you will need roof rails so you can put a proper roof transport system onto it. Another exterior option, this is actually the first car I've actually seen that's got this, but it's got this fixed side steps. I think it's quite an expensive option, but it does just make the car feel like it sits a bit lower, again just giving it a slightly more aggressive stance. And of course, if you ever need to let your granny in, just gives her a little helping hand as well. Okay, so just a couple more things worth pointing out about the exterior styling. So if you didn't choose a black car, but you did get the high gloss black style package, you obviously would have got all those nice contrast bits, but you don't have to get that. You can get a style package in the body color. So if you get a yellow car, for example, all like the wheel arches would be yellow, the side sills could be yellow, so you sort of color coded the car a bit better. If that's not enough for you, you can spend a whole lot more money getting carbon fiber. So a carbon fiber style package, they split it into two different packs. They do an upper carbon fiber pack, which I think is about £6,500, and a lower carbon fiber pack, which is about 12 grand. So, you know, all the side sills, the front bumper, parts of it, and all sorts of little bits, mirrors, rear spoiler, the little side grills here, you can get it all in carbon fiber. You can end up spending £20,000, £30,000. Is it worth it? You have to decide that. Remember, this is an SUV, this is not a supercar, as much as it drives like one. So you probably won't get all that value back when you come to sell it, but obviously it just comes down to your budget really. But it certainly does look amazing with all that carbon fiber. This car's actually got a couple of very small carbon bits, which I'll show you. On the petrol fuel filler cap here, you've gone with the carbon fiber fuel cap. Nice little touch. And also, when you open the doors, it's also got these carbon fiber kick plates. So it's more sensible, some of the cheaper carbon fiber options. But as I said, it's nice if you can find one with some carbon parts, but shouldn't really be a deal breaker. In case you're wondering, you'll notice on this car, it does have quite a few different bits to the regular Urus. That's because it has this Nero design body kit. That's not something that's supplied by Lamborghini. So you'll notice it's got a totally different front splitter, all made in carbon fiber. It's got a different rear diffuser. It's got a carbon fiber rear spoiler. So it is an aftermarket product, but it does just make the car look a little bit more aggressive, but you won't be able to order that from factory. Something you can spec from factory though is called the off-road package. So for the more adventurous out there, you might want to choose this if you're going off-road. It gives you different front and rear bumpers, gives you a slightly higher ride height to give you better ground clearance, but that is different to the off-road modes, which is another option. That gives you Terra and also Sabia. So if you're going sand duning or just going off-road in general, you'll want those extra modes. Okay, so one very important exterior option is the panoramic roof. I think it costs just over £2,000 from new. Personally, I haven't actually seen an Urus without it. That being an SUV, I think every SUV should have a panoramic roof just to let a little bit more light in, especially if you've got a dark interior. It can be quite a dingy place to be for rear passengers. Obviously it's another window, although on the Urus it's not the biggest panoramic roof I've ever seen, but for rear passengers especially, you're going to get views of the sky, the stars, sky-rise buildings. If you're in a city, it just adds a little bit more. Obviously you can open and close it as well if you want to let a bit of fresh air in too. Okay, so one more option before we go onto the interior is the exhaust. So the stock exhaust is decent, don't get me wrong, but if you really want to get the very best sound out of your Urus V8, you're going to want to spec the Akrapovic exhaust. So the beauty of the Akrapovic is it's actually supplied and fitted by the factory. It's Lamborghini approved, so you're not going to get any issues with warranty like you do with some other aftermarket exhausts. So this exhaust is specifically built for the Urus. Akrapovic has really honed it for the Urus. It's 35% lighter than the original exhaust, and it's also just made of titanium. So look, it is an expensive option. It costs over £8,000. So that's why most cars don't have it. Most people don't go for it. But if you can find one with the Akrapovic exhaust, you're going to be able to enjoy these sounds. Okay, so onto the interiors now. Lamborghini do a few different sort of themes for the interiors. This one here is called the Elegante Interior. What you get with the Elegante is you get a single tone color for the seat, but then it contrasts with another color, namely black. So you get a black dashboard, black headlining, black inserts in the doors. So you get that nice contrast, but the seat remains in one color. And the clue's in the name. It's meant to look elegant, it's meant to look luxurious, and I think it looks lovely in this Bianco Polar color. We've actually got another Urus here, which has got the tan interior called Terra Asia. That's also the Elegante leather, and if you like tan interiors, that looks amazing, really Italian, really stylish. But yeah, it's meant to be not quite as sporty as the Sportivo interior, which I'll show you next. Okay, so this is the Sportivo interior, and the big difference here is you get the seat centers as a different color to the bolster, and that just gives a sort of sportier look. And then again, you get the contrast sort of throughout the car. On this car, you can see it's in red, but I've seen some really fruity colors. I remember one of the very first Uruses we had bright blue through the middle, and we really struggled to sell it. You can get bright yellow, bright green. I think you really kind of want to match it to the exterior of the car. Otherwise, I'd probably go with one of the safer options, maybe the black and white. We've had one like that recently, looked really, really nice. Another thing you can choose is whether you want leather or Alcantara. Obviously on this car you can see it's got the Alcantara through the middle, but other cars I've seen have got leather. That's really down to personal preference. I think as an everyday car, leather is a little bit more practical. You'll see that Alcantara just wears a little bit more, I think, in certain places. So look, that's down to you really, leather or Alcantara. Okay, so just a couple more things worth mentioning on the seats. So you'll notice all the cars we're showing you today have got something called the Chiusura stitching. That is this sort of diamond quilting through the middle, or sort of hexagonal it is on the Urus. That is a pretty desirable option. It can look a little bit plain without that stitching. Some people may prefer it without. And then you'll also want to look at getting the shields, the Lamborghini shields on the headrest, and obviously matching the color of the stitching to the Chiusura. On this car, you'll notice, if you look very closely to the leather, it's got lots of little holes in. That's because it's perforated leather. What that gives you on this car is you've got ventilated seats, and you've also got the massage function. Obviously in the summer, always nice to cool down the seats, and everyone likes a cheeky massage. So that's a nice option, about a £3,000 option from new, and you get fully electric 18-way adaptive seats with that too. Okay, so when you're sat in the driver's seat, there's a few more things you'll want to look out for. One of them being the steering wheel. So there's a few different options here. On this car, you've got the perforated steering wheel. So whilst you get the smooth leather at the top and the bottom, you get to choose what you want for your main grip. The perforated steering wheel, as you'll see, you've got the little holes. It gives you a little bit more grip, more of a textured feel, but obviously you can get the smooth leather the whole way round. If you want that, just bear in mind it can get a little bit shiny a few years down the line. Or you can get the suede steering wheel. The suede gives it a nice soft touch, but again, just bear in mind, you know, your oils from your hands, it is going to get into that suede a bit more, and it's just going to wear that little bit more. Other things in the interior, this car has got all gloss black inserts. This bit here, this is the aluminium trim. The only thing you can do differently here is get an anodized dark aluminium trim, which I think looks quite nice. I've seen it in one car before. Or if you want to spend more money, you can get carbon fiber instead of piano black. I think they do 2 packs, a big one and a small one, nice and simple. And obviously that just covers more parts in carbon if you go for the bigger one. I'm going to rattle through a whole load more options, mainly sort of tech features. Some I think you need, some you don't, but you can make your mind up for yourself. One that I think is worth getting is an upgraded sound system. You know, when you're spending 200 grand plus on an SUV, you want a decent sound system. So there are 2 options now. There's the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which this has got. You'll notice by the speaker grills are in an aluminium finish if you have the B&O. It's a 3D advanced system. I think it's 21 speakers. You get the little tweeters that rise out of the dashboard. So that is a really cool feature, and it is a must-have for a lot of people. Some people will not buy a Urus without it. They've now, in the 21 model year, brought out the Sensonum sound system. Haven't actually seen that yet. It's actually an in-between sound system, so it costs a little bit less than the B&O, but definitely one to look out for. So other tech features, if you look into the infotainment, there are lots of different little things you can do. Navigation and Bluetooth, obviously standard. Digital radio is not standard, certainly not on the early cars, so watch out for that one if you want digital radio. One thing to look out for is something called the full ADAS package. Originally cost over £5,000, gave you loads of sort of safety features. I mean, ADAS standing for Advanced Driving Assistance Systems. So things like active braking assist, lane keeping assist, you know, notifying you of any obstacles ahead of you. So that is a good thing to look out for, and actually cost obviously quite a lot. I do believe now Lamborghini include a lot of that as standard, and head-up display, which used to be part of the ADAS package, is now a completely separate option you have to pay for. Head-up display, this car's got it, some people like it, certainly not an essential. One thing I do think is more important is the park assistant package. That costs just under £3,000, gives you all different views, 360-degree cameras, top view camera, so it really makes parking really, really precise. And then from the 21 model year, you now get something called remote park assist. That basically is, the car can park itself. I'm yet to see it happen myself. We've seen it on Range Rovers, we've seen it on Teslas, and now Lamborghini have that option too. A few more options, possibly some that maybe you shouldn't get too hung up on. Certainly one is ambient lighting. It costs over £2,500. Personally, I think a total waste of money because you can barely see it. You get little red lights and you can change the color of them, but you literally can't see it. So don't waste your money on that. Obviously, if it's got it on a used car, fine. Night view assist, that's something that this car has, and basically it's really for if you live deep in the countryside, you might have wildlife around you. Obviously, if you're going off-roading, it could be handy, but if you're just going to use it for sort of normal driving, you probably don't need it, but you can basically see a sort of night vision goggle view ahead. Another one is the sunshine package. If you live in hotter climates, you might want to get the sunshine package. You get little blinds on the windows which you can raise up and obviously shut out the sunlight, keep the car cool. You can also get heat insulated and acoustic glass. That not only just shuts off the road noise better, but obviously just keeps the heat out. So again, something good for hot climates. Something we'd probably get more use of in England though is the auxiliary heating. So you get a little remote here which you can then turn on the heating whilst you're still having your breakfast in the morning. Just get the car nice and toasty in the winter. Okay, so that brings us on to another important decision. Do you go with the 5-seat layout or the 4-seat layout? So as you can see, this is the 4-seat layout back here, and you get 2 proper sculpted seats, unlike you do with the rear bench seat. You get just more space back here, it's more comfortable. So instead of getting that 5th seat through the middle, you get this nice center console where you get your little cup holders down here, little storage space here, and a nice big cubby hole for any other goods. And then down here, you've got your little separate climate control system. You get heated seats here as standard as well. And you also get this little rear cubby hole, which is all nicely done in that QC Tura stitching as well. I guess it really comes down to whether you're gonna miss that 5th seat. If you've got kids, you're probably going to want the 5th seat. If your kids are grown up or you've got no kids, then you know it does make sense to go with the 4-seat option. It's going to be more luxurious and it's that sort of executive luxury seating. So personally, I think it's a great option if you can get away with missing that 5th seat. Okay, there are a few more options, but I'm going to end on this one, the Lamborghini puddle lights. Okay, so there you have it. I hope I've covered most of the important choices and decisions you'll have to make when you're looking for your next Urus or speccing up a new one. Bear in mind, we are active buyers and sellers of the Urus, so stay tuned to Roman's website. If you've got one to sell, do let us know, of course, in the UK. But look, otherwise, we hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see you again next time.